Welcome to Yahoo Finance Live. I'm Julie Hyman with Brad Smith and Brooke DiPalma. We are getting the CPI numbers now. They're coming in right in line with estimated consumer price index rising 0.4% month over month. That is a reacceleration from the prior month. It's also in line with estimates ex food and energy. We're getting the same increase, 0.4% year over year, a 4.9% gain ex food and energy. That number is 5.5%. So again here, headline inflation reaccelerating in April compared with March. This wasn't entirely unexpected on the part of economists. In fact, it was exactly what they expected in terms of the overall numbers here. One of the reasons why is that we had seen shelter costs abate in the month of March, and some economists had said that that was just a one-off and that we were going to see that reacceleration. If you look at the longer-term trend here, what we are seeing is an overall deceleration. Yes, even though inflation sped up again in April, if you look over the past 3-month or 6-month trend, you do see a slowing in the rate of inflation. It doesn't mean prices aren't going up anymore.
Right.
They are.
Right.
They're just going up at a slower pace, which is good news for many Americans and good news for the Federal Reserve, which of course has been trying to fight inflation.
Yeah, and some of those core necessities categories, and thinking primarily in some of the energy spaces as well, a lot of people will be pleased to hear at least some of the month-over-month figures that we've continued to track here for gasoline and fuel oil. You did see in fuel oil at least a move lower by about 4.5%. Energy services, that moved lower by about 1.7%. It looks like with utilities, particularly gas services, that down by about 4.9%. And then additionally here, kind of looking through some of the other figures here, as we talk so much about medical care, it's interesting to see that that's still moving higher, but just barely here. And I think the headline there is that it's not moving higher as much as it was previously. I mean, you think back to January of 2023, where that moved higher by about 1.1%. At least in this most recent month, looks like it only moved higher by about 0.5%.
Well, it's interesting. That's medical care commodities. So that's stuff that you buy for medical care. Medical care services actually continue to trend lower, which so that's an interesting dichotomy. And part of that probably has to do with the bounce back from supply chain disruptions. So that's still elevating medical care costs for stuff, even as services are going down. Brooke, I know that you are focusing on the food side of the equation. What stands out to you?
Right. Well, food at home, unadjusted, up 7.1%, month over month, up 0.1%. And something that we've been following closely is, in fact, eggs. Some experts on the street really warning of a deflationary egg crisis, of that price coming down too fast because of ample supplies and lower demand. Right now, month over month, though, we're seeing just a decrease of 1.5%. Now, eggs largely volatile here, and so it's something that we'll continue to watch. But that number a bit less than I expected. I know that last month, eggs month over month decreased 10.9%. So this just a slight decrease month over month. But in addition to that, we've also been following California, as that wet weather certainly took a toll in the end of March, early April. We see citrus fruits month over month down 2.7%. In addition to overall fruits and vegetables down 0.5%. And largely we're seeing numbers as far as groceries go down month over month. But as noted in many earnings calls, we are seeing beef continue to be a sticky point for inflation. Beef and veal up 0.3% month over month, but largely numbers down, which is definitely encouraging for both Wall Street and Main Street.
Yeah. One additional figure that I'm continuing to really look through. I mean, you guys know I love to talk about airlines here, and there's a lot of people are planning summer travel, and the CEOs that we speak with here on Yahoo Finance have continued to talk about a counter-cyclical recovery or a resurgence in travel demand that's remaining strong. It's interesting. Among the indexes that are tracked by the BLX, several indexes declined in April, actually led by airline fares. That index fell 2.6% over the month after rising in both February and March. So that gives you a little bit of the inclination into how the market, how consumers are digesting some of the airline fares right now, and perhaps where they're pushing back and where that's causing some of the airline operators to also say, you know what, all right, we got to be a little bit more responsive for the appetite to pay is.
And one final note, as we're talking about the different components, used vehicles up 4.4%. So that is a reversal. We had seen some comeback and down. New vehicles, though, seeing a little bit of a decline. All right, we're going to leave it there. We'll have much more, though, on CPI coming up at 9 a.m. and much more. This is Yahoo Finance Live.